back. Houston ISD is on week 3 of this school year. It's already flying by. It's been a whirlwind of emotions for so many, and yesterday Superintendent Mike Miles met with executive directors and directors of the district. Click to Houston Digital Content Specialist Ninfa Saavedra tuned into that meeting. She's joining us now. Thank you so much for coming in.
Of course.
And chatting. It's always a pleasure talking with you. Explain to us how the meeting went.
Yeah, so the meeting was Mike Miles, who's the superintendent, and then you have his cabinets, which contains his chief officers and the division superintendents. And these people are directly under them. So they work closely with the schools, the principals, the teachers, ensuring that everything is in place and all the goals are being met at the schools. So his meeting with them was just getting them on board with his plan, making sure they understand his plan and implementing his plan, and also introducing his high quality plan that he has for the district now. His high improvement plan that he has for the district.
How was it received by these people? You know, we're not talking about community members. We're not talking about parents. We're talking about people who work within the district. And this is different, as you mentioned, from the board of managers. These are employees of the district.
Right. So this was a private meeting. So he really set them down and was like, this is my goal, and I want you guys to implement this in school. And if it's not implemented in school, if you don't believe in the plan, then you may want to seek other options. That's what he said. He's not firing anyone, he's not letting anyone go, but he's basically like, this is the plan. It has worked in the past. He has, you know, from Dallas ISD, he said it has worked. This is the plan that he has set in place, and he wants to implement it in the schools. And as leaders, it starts with them, is what he's basically saying.
Was it received well by them, by these leaders?
It was, I think it was. I think it definitely was.
They're
and
on
I think,
board.
they're on board. And he basically talked a lot about taking accountability as a district. And he basically said that for the district to get better, it starts with the leaders.
It starts at the top.
Yeah, it starts at the top. And he wants them to give their opinions about it. He wants to talk about it. If there's an issue, he wants to address it. But he cannot address issues, he said, if it's not brought to him.
I know he at one point mentioned his experience at Dallas ISD. This is where he was previously. What were those remarks about?
Yeah, so basically he said that he implemented these same goals, these bold goals and these bold outlines at Dallas ISD, and he said that it improved, it worked within 10 years. And he said that HISD is not critical yet, but it needs a bold change. And for him to do that, he has to be allowed to implement these different strategies and these different techniques for the district to get better. But it starts with the leadership all being on the same page.
And part of that is accountability. I know with that he mentioned absences. People not showing up for work.
Yeah, so we all know that he mentioned before extending teacher-student instruction days. So he wants to extend it by 8 days. So he said with doing that, it has to be less absences, not just with students, but also teachers. The teachers have to be in the classroom teaching students. And if there are a lot of absences, it needs to be addressed before it becomes a constant thing or a reoccurring thing. It needs to be addressed head on, and there needs to be consequences. The consequences does not always mean firing the teachers, but it means talking it out, understanding why, if there's a reason why. Not necessarily medical reason, COVID, you're sick, he understands that, but other issues outside of that are why teachers are being absent and not in class teaching students, because the only way the district can improve is if you see those changes.
Yeah. Again, I want to hit home that this was not a community meeting.
No.
The district is hosting a slew of those. This was a meeting with him and his leadership, his leaders within the district.
This was a private meeting. He only allowed a few media personnel to join the meeting. There were no cameras allowed. He did answer a few questions after with just specifically the media, but this was literally an improvement meeting, and he plans to have several. He said this was the first meeting, This was accountability meeting where he wants the district and the leaders to take accountability for the things that have happened in the past, accept them, and think about ways and how to move forward. He's just concentrating on moving forward.
Okay. And we trust that you'll be sitting in on these future meetings and bringing us the very latest.
Of course.
Ninfa Saavedra, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.